Okay, the first item up on the agenda is the nomination of Michaela Thompson for the committee or the Common Council position at whole. I'll let Michaela introduce herself if you want to come up, and yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michaela Thompson, and I am super honored and excited to be here today. And moving forward, I've been a citizen of Amory my entire life. I lived in St. Peter, Minnesota for 4 years, going to school at the State of Adolphus College. And I've returned and have been working for Northwest Counseling and Guidance Clinic. They have a office here in Amory. That's our Northwest Journey division, and that's a day treatment facility for youth. We pull in kiddos from the surrounding counties and the Amory area. My role at that agency is primarily employee recruitment and retention, along with connecting kiddos to our services. So I'm super excited to be here and to serve Amory and
Great. So I guess I would like to nominate Michaela for the open alderperson position.
And she will be alderperson at large.
At large for a 2-year term, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to accept Kayla as alderperson at large on the Amory City Council.
Great.
And I'll second.
Okay, first and second, any further discussion?
Did the mayor make any promises? 'Cause that's how I do it.
No, no promises.
Okay.
Although I did incorrectly state what her pay would be. Instead of a year, I said a month, and then she questioned that.
I just
Yeah,
popped out of my head.
Yeah. So now we cleared that up, so that's good. Do we do a roll call for this, or is it just a?
I would say it wouldn't hurt.
Okay, all right, we'll do a roll call vote.
Strobel.
Yes.
Van Blaricom.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Flatum.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I can't vote.
You can't.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Abbott. Flatum.
Yes.
Manner.
Yes.
All right. This is all right.
Yeah,
Then
welcome
we'll
aboard.
do the oath right now, yes? Okay, excellent.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Michaela Thompson,
having been appointed to the office
having been appointed to the office
of alderperson,
of alderperson,
but have not yet
but have not yet
entered upon the duties thereof,
entered upon the duties thereof,
swear or affirm
swear or affirm
that I'll support the Constitution
that I'll support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the
of
Constitution
the state of Wisconsin,
of the state of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully just discharge
and will faithfully
the
discharge
duties of said office
the duties of said
to
office
the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right. Right there. And then all the stuff for the meeting is between Rick and Chad.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The rookie gets the chair on the left.
Yeah, but Eric didn't want to give it up, so. Welcome. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 2, building inspector request for proposal. Patty, do you have a recommendation for the council or
Well, I guess
discussion or?
I guess I was looking at the two and I was looking at them. It seemed like the other. And they had all their certification. So I say we go with them just for the price cost of it to the residents. You want to encourage people to come into the city and have affordable inspections done on their buildings. So that would be my recommendation, but it's totally up to you if you decide to choose.
So just to clarify, your recommendation is for Maelstrom Inspections,
Correct.
LLC, out of Glenwood City.
Yes. And, you know, it's always been kind of, I mean, we try to keep it at the lowest. The city always tries to look at the lowest, and that's the only reason I suggest that is it's lower and they're fully permitted too, so.
Council.
Well, I don't know the guy from Glenwood City very well, but I have worked
personally with Dan for the last 4 years. I guess I wouldn't personally be ready to trade a known quantity for an unknown quantity just because a couple bucks difference in price. Anybody that works with building inspectors knows that they all have idiosyncrasies. 99% of the time they're right, but not always. But I personally, I guess, don't see a real need to change just for a couple dollars difference. I think the proposal said that Dan was working towards his commercial. And has, in fact, this new guy works for Dan or subs out to Dan for some commercial I saw. And I don't know, like I said, I worked with 5 of them. I don't, they all have areas of expertise, but I just assume keep the one we got personally.
Can we have adjustments made in the pricing and some of the services that are priced differently?
That would be up to Dan, I guess, to propose those.
I'd be happy to meet whatever the city needs to meet, for sure. Rather have a contract that meets what the needs are.
But we have 2 proposals on from an RFP.
Well, I'll make the motion to keep REM inspecting as our building inspector.
Is there a second?
Until we've seen the other guy's body of work, which we haven't. I just am personally not ready to throw a known quantity overboard for a couple bucks. That just doesn't seem to me to be wise use. Federal government always goes to the lower bidder, and you can see how that works.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion's been first and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. So we'll retain the inspection services of REM. And that contract is they're 1-year contracts. That's why we're doing it in May, right?
That's why
So
we're doing it.
we'll have that from now through
So you'll be good.
2020, 2023 already. Wow. Okay. Age, it's coming.
So as we talked earlier, if there's a pricing concern here, I'm willing to obviously look at the prices and see if there's something that needs to meet the need or those kinds of things. As a side note, we are looking at moving into town, getting one of the open business spaces here in town. So we are planning to move in and stay for our business.
Cool.
Good. Excellent.
We'll talk about that. We'll try to. All right.
Okay, excellent. All right, so we'll go to the third agenda item of airport manager request for proposal. City staff, you have a recommendation for us?
Jeff and I talked about it, and I have worked for other municipalities where I was the airport manager. So I think you'd be better served to have the city do that portion of it. Administratively, we could take care of the grants, those types of things. Public Works can take care of the actual airport anyway. You take care of it now, and you call in whenever there's snowstorms. and- Yep. So there's no notims done there, I don't believe, is there? Is there any notims that you know, Greg? I don't
You know,
think so.
Jay always got
I don't think
the
there is.
NOTAMs, I think they're published to pilots of record for that, so
Correct.
maybe there's some list that the city could get on
Exactly,
to get them,
to get them. Yep.
yeah. How do you think the fuel is gonna work?
Fuel works, we've got a really good past mayor that keeps us abreast on what's going on. He could keep us, he goes there all the time. Guys are there
And
all
in
the
the
time.
summer, we've got
Yeah,
guys out there mowing
they're
all
always
the time.
there.
Well, I can swing by.
Yeah,
once
but-
a
They
week.
can keep
I
track
mean,
of all.
I think you need to have someone in charge of checking the fuel out, because
Yep.
you can't I know one of the issues he's had over the years is you can't always get 1,000 gallons or 5, whatever you need when you need it. Jay always combined it with part of the load from Richmond there when he could, I know. So that would be a concern. Otherwise, one of the local electricians has fixed the lights for a long time.
Yes, I know that electrician. But I just think that the city would be better served at this time to keep it within the city. I mean, that's $6,000 that, maybe, I don't know, put it in the airport budget. And for other things, it just seems like that would be money better spent for the actual budget.
So the recommendation from city staff is to not hire an airport manager, but rather absorb that within other areas within the city.
Within the airport.
And this can be reevaluated in a year
In a
also.
year also. And then the commission can still stay in place. I mean, they work together and they give us ideas and recommendations. We could still have meetings with them.
You and I are on that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Make a motion to keep the airport management duties within the city for reevaluation at 6 and 12 months.
Second,
Okay, it's been first and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yes, one of the things that caught my eye with this proposal that he sent in was that several, if not a lot, of the hangars are used for storage.
Yep, and that's totally against the lease.
Okay,
That caught my eye too.
Yep, so there's gonna be a lot of that we're gonna hone in on.
okay.
Any further discussion?
I guess my concern would be that if there's not somebody that's, truly dedicated to doing this particular job, the desire of the person who has been proposed to us, has been involved for an awful lot of time, and it sounds as though strategic plan is out there and, considering the development of the additional industrial park. I hope that those types of things aren't going to go by the wayside.
No,
Um,
they're already in the process.
Okay,
Yep.
and is that something that the commission would
They'll
keep in touch with?
They'll keep pushing it too. Yep.
Because the strategic plan is already underneath.
It's already in place. They're already
Okay.
working on it, so.
Okay,
From
well,
the
I mean, it just
commission.
indicates updating the strategic plan and then just other additional things that happen at the airport. And I hope that, that type of thing isn't looked over.
Exactly. So that's why we got the commission.
And then the motion was reevaluation in 6 and 12 months. So if
And that's
things
why I
aren't
said
going-
the 6 months. Let's see how it
Yeah.
goes in 6
See how it
Yeah.
goes.
Okay.
I think so.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Excellent. All right, let's moving on to resolution 032022 CMAR.
That is just our yearly report on all the sewer plants doing. So every year we have to go through and resolution. Everything's going really well this year, so we should have no problems at all. Finished off bring it in and everybody can see it.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 03-2022 with the CMR report for the year 2021.
Okay, is there a second?
second,
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, resolution is passed. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second,
I'll second.
all those in favor? All right, we'll adjourn.
Takes me forever to get up on this one.
Do you want me to just roll?
The meeting of the Committee of the Whole for the City of Amory to order. Oh, roll call, please.
Strobel.
Here.
Van Blaricombe.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Flannum.
Here.
Leonard.
Here.
Manner.
Here,
I see Elford is not here.
Okay, any public comment? No public comment, all right. Considering no public comment, we'll move on to item number 1, the department head reports. We'll start with Patty, City Administrator, please.
Good evening. My monthly report is, first item is the cell tower, T-Mobile and Sprint tower site is being decommissioned, which means that the cell towers will no longer exist for the city. The work has not started yet, but will be complete by the end of June 2022. It appears that both T-Mobile and Sprint are merging, and they determined that they no longer require the site as part of its new combined network. I am working on the scope of work for removal of the equipment. Monthly department head meetings. We just had a meeting yesterday. The meetings with department heads are always productive. We get a lot discussed. Monthly staff meetings. I held a meeting recently with a few of the staff to discuss monthly billing. Part of our discussion was also held with Dick Waterman of Waterman Sanitation. He said he would probably meet with the council tonight to discuss recycling in the city. Employee reviews 2023 budget. Ben and I are working on the budget for 2023. We've already started working on it. We would like to start budget meetings in July. I will keep everyone on council apprised of this, so then we can just start working towards getting our budget together. South Industrial Park, I have not heard anything further regarding the sale of lots, other than there was some interest. There's a couple people interested. I will report the progress if there are any regarding sales of lots there. I do have a quick update on the project. All underground city utilities, water, sewer storm have been installed. Work to build the road will begin soon. Curb and gutter installation is currently scheduled for the first or second week in June. Gas, electric, and communications will be installed once the curb is in place. And then the wayfinding trailhead signage. I have been working with Signation. I met with her again today, who did all of our signs inside the City Hall, Police Library, City Center. They're working with Paperworks to develop a map for the trailhead signage, which Sally's, I don't know if you've ever seen it in her publication, but it's kind of a cool map. So curb and gutter, we're also exploring wayfinding options that could further be investigated in the future for the city of Amory. And on that note, we had kind of talked about a committee that you'd like to put together, and I think this would be a perfect avenue for them to discuss that. So Omar appraisal, the push to finish the valuations of all property is happening with the city assessors. The focus is on residential properties in the city. This is our final year for valuations of property, and we will have costs for that ready at the board of review, which is moved out to October. Rick Summerfeld, State Fire Inspector Fire Dues. Myself, along with Chuck Frome, the interim fire chief, and Taylor Larson, deputy clerk, administrative assistant, met with Rick Summerfeld. He went over requirements for fire inspections and 2% fire dues audit. Chuck and I will report at the next fire committee meeting about that. It was a very, very good meeting, I think. We learned a lot. Alderman Gillette regarding the 2% fire dues and requirements from his perspective. Got some news today, the Wisconsin Badger Main Street Bounce Back Grant Program. That today, the ADCA has acknowledged 29 businesses, of which 23 have received the 10,000 grant. The remaining applicants are in the process of being reviewed. The program for grants is being extended from June 30th, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, with an additional 25 million added to the existing dollars. So if there's any new businesses that want to get their businesses up and refurbished and looking nice and new businesses coming in, grab that money. 10,000 to help you with that. I know Cahill Studios, she had applied for that grant. They bought the Arrow building in town, so it's money well spent.
Arrow-
To help
Arrow
them.
Building is not in town though.
No, I'm sorry. It's right outside of town, the Arrow Building Center.
Yeah.
That, they're moving into there.
Yeah.
So she gets the 10,000. She's gonna apply for it, because
So,
it's statewide. $10,000 grant. It's called the Main Street Bounce Back Program. So it's out there, the money's there, and they're adding 25 million more, so. Any questions?
oh, yeah, one. Which tower is going down?
It's the Sprint
One at the
T-Mobile cell tower.
landfill?
No, it's
It's on the water tower.
Oh, so we still have one?
Yes,
Is that an AT&T tower up
Yeah.
there?
but this is T-Mobile and Sprint.
And so what's the negative financial?
We don't have a choice. They're
No,
doing-
no,
they're
no,
doing it.
I understand that, but how much rent do they pay now?
It's 10,000.
A year
Yep,
per each?
for both.
So that's 20 grand.
No, it's 10,000.
Oh,
They're combined.
oh. But
But-
what was 20? Is that the one?
No.
Because we didn't have both entities on the tower.
Well,
No,
they co-shared the equipment.
They co-share.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's why.
The main problem is gonna be to make sure they have the tower looking like it did before they started.
Yep,
They
they
have
have
to-
to fix it
All
exactly
the
how
wells,
it was.
everything has to be sandblasted and painted and cleaned up really well.
Along with the cabling removed.
Yep.
Yep, everything.
I mean, everything needs to be removed.
So we've got somebody working on coming to start the inspection process for that, and it's gonna be up to snuff before they can even, but they say they'll have it done by the end of June, so,
And that's at 100% their cost to
yes.
restore.
Yeah, they have to pay us, and then whatever the costs are to do that comes out of that. That's them, so they're paying either way, they're paying us, and we give them what's left to close out the lease.
Can I ask what steps are being taken to market the South Industrial Park?
We have it out on, what do they call that, the MS?
MLS.
Yeah, it's all over, they're advertised all over the place, and we've actually had, like I said, 2 hits where people are interested, but haven't had any numbers yet.
I think once you get a road bed in there that's drivable,
I
and
think
people can
that's,
get back there and see it,
I think that's gonna make a
it'll
huge
make it much
difference.
more marketable.
But now we've got, like I said, there's all those improvements that have already started, so that's a good thing.
That'll be
Get the
good.
road and the curb in there, and I think it's gonna be a lot better. And then get the streetlights and those things.
Thank you,
Thank
Connie. Clerk Treasurer Ben.
Mine's a little shorter. Let's see, Taylor and I delivered all the liquor license packets all over town 2 weeks ago. Ish. So we've been getting all our materials back. We requested that everybody have their stuff back by this Friday, so we have everything ready for the June meeting. So Tom's been busy reviewing all our operators too. We had me a stack of like 40 of them earlier today, so that's good. To the Spring Treasures Conference in La Crosse at the end of April. Had all sorts of random trainings, ARPA funds, financial restraint, you name it. I'll be going to a conference in Oshkosh in June. That is the League of Wisconsin Municipalities Finance Officers Conference. So that's my first league conference. Patty says they're good, so I'm looking forward to that. Board review will be meeting on June 1st. I believe you 3 are on board review. We'll be meeting just to adjourn because the assessment roll is not ready, and I think October 19th is going to be the actual date later on this year.
Do we have a date or a time set for that?
4:45.
Thank you.
I just completed my most recent RC management class. Unfortunately, I have to wait till the fall to finish. I was really hoping it'd be a summer class, and it's not. So now I get 3 months off, and have to go back. And like Patty said, we started our budget work, so hopefully we're gonna get way ahead of the curve this year. And it'll just go really smooth. Okay.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Police Chief Marson.
I'm being a little more long-winded than Ben tonight. Good evening, council, staff, members of the community. I have provided to the council the Avery PD activity report for the month of April. You'll see that the format has changed in hopes of providing more information to you and the community. We will continue to fine tune it further over the next few months. If there are any statistics or other information that you were interested in on the monthly report that is not currently included, please let me know. April was quite busy for the Amory officers. There are a few highlights included in the monthly report. With the warm summer months ahead, it is expected that we will continue to maintain this pace and about. As for school winding down, I want to mention a couple of things related to juveniles. The city of Amory does have a curfew. It states that it is unlawful for any person under the age of 16 to be out of the city, in the city on their own, unaccompanied by a parent or guardian between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. Some of the exceptions are, though, running errands for parents or legal guardians, employment, and after attending a supervised event such as a church or civic function, up to no later than an hour after that event. We've also started to see an uptick in complaints at our parks, as we did late last year, mostly involving juveniles. Last year, there were many incidents of extensive damage to facilities in the park, and I think Jeff can attest to that. Be advised that we do have video surveillance at some of our parks, and Jeff and I talked about a camera system down at the beach area today. And we will be taking strict enforcement action as needed to include offenders being restricted from using the city parks. Regarding ETVs, at the last council meeting there, just give an update. Jeff had put up no parking sign on the north side of Broadway there, and we expect this would benefit the ATV, UTV usage on that street there. I did at the last council meeting mention that I want to do a little more research on that as well. There would be my recommendation for the council meeting that would open up all city streets except Highway 46, Keller Avenue, any small sections of County Road F from Harriman Avenue to Highway 46, Keller Avenue. There's really only house on that residence, and also the area from our city limits from Drive up to Minneapolis Avenue there. In total, there's about 6 houses that are affected in the area. So I think that would work out well, but we could certainly address that at the council meeting there. Last month, I also talked about unsightly junk and stuff like that. I just want to expand upon that a little bit more there. I do know a few years ago, the council wanted us to take a more proactive action on that. I just wanted to concur, is that still the case? That over the years, we've been reactive at times. That's been the thought. And then there's been some proactive things like it. So yeah, because we are going to be sending out notices to different individuals that are helping a few weeks and things like that there. So just a reminder also regarding junk, the Waterman Sanitation is open on Saturdays from 9 to noon for junk and stuff like that. Like I mentioned, we will be sending out letters and reminders that helps for our ordinance enforcement, and sometimes people need a little more attention there on that there. But lastly, I want to apologize in advance for limited administrative hours at our PD, including our DMV services. We recently have changed the office hours from Monday through Thursday due to being short-staffed. Over the next few months, it is likely that we will have to limit our administrative hours further at times. And this will be posted on our Facebook page along with the city website as needed. A reminder that the DMV Service Center that is located in the shops of Amory on Eldon Avenue have again resumed DMV services for vehicles. These services were temporarily suspended during COVID, but are available again every Monday and Wednesday. An extensive number of services can also be done online at wisconsindot.gov. So I have any questions though?
What's the staffing issue?
Staffing issue is, we've had one off with an injury to her arm there, and we're expecting that to continue there. There might be some job status change in that. And having said that, Heather needs to be taking some more time off this summer with her child going to college and things like that. So we will keep everybody posted on that. And we can also. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Interim chief. Mr. Crone.
I'm gonna be much shorter.
You are short.
Evening. On May 13th, we met with Alan Boshley from Pierce Manufacturing about refurbishing our engine 2. He stated that we are doing an excellent job on our maintenance for our vehicle. He said a new engine comparable to what we have right now is roughly about $450,000, but they're not even taking an order for another 2 years. So something that I got to think about as far as refurbishing that truck. And we're actually going to have a new truck. I mean, it's new tank, no valves, everything's going to be new except for the paint on the outside pretty much. I know we talked about in a fire committee meeting about writing grants. We do have a firefighter who actually got a certificate about writing grants, and he's in the process of doing that for us. Jake Abb is doing a good job. I'm glad he's stepping up and helping us out in that regard. We have not received the $10,000 COVID relief money from the county yet, but I was reassured that we will be getting it. She's going to do whatever she can to make sure that every fire department in the county will get it. So, we had very good training last night. I want to say thank you to the Perks family for donating their house for us to train in. It was a good 3 hours worth of training. A lot of our firefighters are newer and they had never run or worked with our high pressure pump. And we had 4 very good scenarios to where the family got to watch and they're asking questions on the smoke color and everything else. And I was kind of giving them a classroom on that. And you know, and they had an 8-year-old, roughly 8-year-old that was pretty interested. And I was explaining to them the smoke and all that kind of stuff. So it was a good, really good training night for everybody. So again, I want to thanks to the Perks family for donating their house. Other than that, that's all I have. Any questions?
You said 2 years to order a new truck?
Yeah, yes.
How long for a refurb job?
He never gave us a time. He said he's got to talk to the salesman. Alan was just for the refurbishing part.
Mhm.
He said he has to go back and he has to talk to his salesman to actually give us the hard numbers. He's estimating right around 100,000, but he said maybe add another 5 to 7% to that. for things
How
like-
long does it take? Would it take?
He never mentioned how long it would take. I imagine it all depends on what they get in or what they find. But one thing they did find was that the steel tank that's on it was really moist underneath.
Mhm.
And they don't make steel tanks anymore. Everything's poly, which is nice. But yeah, he went through it pretty good. He was there for like an hour and a half.
Well, so what are some other things on the scope of the remodel?
LED lights, all new valves, tires. The tires are 2013. I think they have to be changed every 10 years. We're supposed to, I do believe he said.
The wiring?
Wiring, new exhaust system, new tank. So, and the lights changing to LED lights and actually adding a few more. He said may have to up the alternator, make a little bit bigger in it, but all that stuff is
what he was saying. So, I mean, like I said, we're gonna have almost a brand new truck with probably as does the outside body. But
You had mentioned new pumps as well. Are they upgraded type?
Not the pump, the valves.
Oh,
The
valves.
valves. You won't, I mean, they may repack the pump seals and everything else, but no, they won't be putting a new pump in.
Okay.
Not that we said, who knows what he's gonna find, I mean, but he said it, and he just passed pump test 2 weeks ago. So we know the pump is working.
Okay.
I would find it a little interesting if they decide to change the alternator
To
right after they
LED.
put all LEDs
Yeah,
on.
I
So
know. Up
use
the-
10% of the power and you have to upgrade the,
Right.
that doesn't sound right.
So what he said, he'll get with the salesman and they'll send us the hard numbers and I'll take all that. I'll take it to the fire committee and hash that out. So. Yeah. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank
I
you.
thought I was gonna be shorter.
Library Director Rachel.
Evening, everyone.
Hi.
We have a lot of wonderful programs coming up to tell you about. Tomorrow at noon, you can come to the library to learn about library apps. We'll be going over the More app, which lets you browse or request books on your phone, and the Libby app, which lets you read and listen to books on your phone. So stop by. The program will be from noon to 1 in the library, and I'll be happy to even help people. This Thursday, we have at 6 p.m. we have our third Thursday crafting program where we will be learning how to make a simple leather strap shelf with some repurposed library bookshelves. The program will be from 6 to 7 p.m. in the library space. That's Thursday. The Saturday, the 21st, here in the city council room, we will at 10 a.m. we will have Inga Witcher visiting. Inga is the host of the PBS series Around the Farm Table, and she will be preparing a baked potato and cheddar tart with greens and fresh herbs. And she'll be discussing the importance of eating local and sharing stories about filming and farming. The Books in Peru Book Club is meeting on Thursday, June 2nd at 6 p.m. at Amory Works, and they will be discussing The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and we have copies available at the library to check out. And then on Saturday, June 4th, Twin Cities Outdoor William Kent Kruger will be at the Amory Community Center at 10 a.m. Kruger is well known for his Corpacano mystery series, as well as best-selling novels like This Tender Land and Ordinary Grace, which was the winner of the 2014 Edgar Award for Best Novel. The program is sponsored by the Friends of the Library, and anyone interested in attending is encouraged to stop by the library to sign up. Our summer reading program is coming up. June and July, we've had the pleasure of having everybody from kindergarten through 8th grade visit the library at the end of this week. Last week we had 6th, 7th, 8th graders all visiting. This week it's been kindergarten for 2nd graders, and then I remember a month or so back we had the graders visit. So it's been a pleasure to have them all come through, see their space in the library. Yeah. What they've been hearing the last few weeks is what the summer reading program is like. That's what the programs that we're going to have reading challenges, not just for kids. There'll be goals and challenges for kids and adults, and participants can work their way towards a chance to win incentives. We'll have activities and programs weekly. Tuesdays at 11 o'clock, we'll have a kids program every week. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. we'll have a story time. Thursdays at 1 p.m. we'll have a tween and teen program. And then we also have 4 special programs that will be performers and programmers that are coming in. We have a magic show, an educational program about snakes, a presentation about shipwrecks, and we'll have a grand finale show with clowns. The theme for the summer reading program is Oceans of Possibilities. So you'll see a lot of water reading. We have all of the dates and program information available at the library. And a lot of it went home to the kids, or is going home to the kids in school. Very special thank you to the Friends of the Library who have generously funded the special performers and the incentives for the summer. Appreciate their help to put on the program. And lastly, Betty Thomasek is leaving the library board after many years of service. We're grateful for her support, her dedication, and enthusiasm for the library. Next Monday, the 23rd, we have a board meeting at 5:45 p.m. and this will be Betty's last board meeting. So I wanted to make sure you all knew that you're more than welcome to attend and you can help us thank Betty for her service. Thank you. Any questions?
I think you forgot an award that you won last week.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you. Thank you to
Congratulations.
everyone who voted. I mean, it is really, it's so nice to be recognized in that way, and the staff, I think, they deserve it. So the staff that have been here through 2021 are wonderful staff to work with. I really enjoyed them all so much. And it's just seeing their faces when they see the award and hear about it. It's really fun to see. So thank you to everybody.
So that was Community Club Municipal Employee.
Municipal
Of the year.
Employee of the Year for 2021.
Congratulations.
And Director of Public Works, Jeff.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's been a busy month so far, and on the industrial park, all the pressure tests passed, sewer and water. And the water has the first sample sent out and came back good, so now they gotta take another sample. Everything's looking good there, and Albrighton and SEH have been just excellent to work with through this. All the parks are open. You guys have been doing a lot of work on repairing docks. If you go over to Mooney Park, that dock is in real tough shape. But Ross is gonna maybe try to pull it out with his crane in one piece. We can try to work on it before letting it dry out, before we try to get that thing stuck in there. Dump is open first and third Saturday of the month. It was really busy this week, for last week. And just so everybody knows, the crew's out working on the streets, patching, sweeping, just if you see them out there, please slow down, give them a little distance. Tomorrow night, I'm going with Jeremy Wood. We're going to Baldwin. They got a biosolids meeting. They're looking to do some upgrades there too. And they have that 0.5 that they're going with, but now they're gonna have to do a little bit more, it sounds like, so find out exactly what's going on with that. And besides that, just been working on the parks, working here at the city center, and keep us busy. Any questions?
Did you find out anything as to why there was water in the basement of the Dairy Queen?
Yes, when MSA comes back, we're gonna do our final sidewalk inspections. They're trying to say if we put the sidewalks in, that it put a hole in their foundation. And they patched it or something, but if that would have, I hate to say it, but if that would have happened, they'd have let us know. I don't know exactly why. But yeah, they do definitely have a lot of water going through the basement right now, and they didn't before, so we'll have to look at that and see what's going on.
I saw you had a couple guys down there one day
Yeah. I've been down there. It is wet, but
So many things, you disturb everything,
yeah,
who knows what happened. Could be
exactly.
a lot of things.
I just need something. All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Should you
Jeff.
wait for the next topic?
I sure can.
Talk about the water, wastewater. plant?
Yeah, so the next item on the agenda is discussion of the proposed wastewater treatment plant upgrades.
All right, on that, I don't know if it's in your pamphlet.
Mhm.
Okay, we have 3 different options. And we're just in the design phase right now, trying to see what'll work the best. And we're going around to different plants, me and Jeremy and a couple other guys, and trying to see what would work the best, what would be the most efficient, and just kind of going from there right now. Just trying to give you an idea on what it's gonna cost, just roughly.
Could you just give it just a really dumb guy
Yep.
explanation of what the 3 of them are, because one says ditch and one says aerobic, so.
All right, one of them, the main thing, if you look at our plant, right now we have we have, like a moat all the way around it. They're worn out, so we're getting a lot of leaking and problems with that. It's only about 4 feet deep, so the weather really affects it. So one of the things is to put an aeration basin in where there'll be, just a big deep ditch. Another one is that they want to redo the influent coming in with the lift station where it would have a newer screening to get rid of more. We're having a lot of worn out. So we've got a big screw drive that takes out all the condoms, tampons, everything like that, and puts it into barrels in a basement, and it's got to be hoisted up with a winch every week. But the problem is the screws get old, everything's going, so there's too much tolerance, so it's plugging up, about once a week, and really being a problem there. That was one of them, is to put like a new lift pump in and get it all cleaned out outside of it, so everything would be up above ground too. Just trying to go off the top of my head. Another one, like I say, the aeration basin. And another one is all this new technology. It would all be computerized, and it would run everything that way. What happened in front of me? I'm sorry.
I've got yours.
Yeah, there's an SBR, an oxidation ditch,
XPR was the one with all the computer stuff there.
and then an industrial oxidation ditch.
Yeah.
SBR, I think is what clearly just put in.
Yes. And they seem to be working well, and everybody's having good luck with them, but yeah. Well, Clear Lake's got so much with,
AFP is the issue.
yes.
Is there a difference in operating costs between the different options?
As of right now, it's hard to say. I think it's all pretty much relative. It's just what technology you want to go with,
Yeah.
what's gonna work the best for our system.
It says in this one that there's about a little bit less than $4,000 difference in the electrical cost to run the alternative 2 versus 3.
You said that the SBR is the computerized one?
Yeah, that's got a lot more computerized in it. I think that's the one that everything if it's a problem with that, anything goes wrong, you have to call them to work on it. And they're supposedly, they've got it in, I think that was Roberts has that really set up, and it works great. But it took a long time to get it to work good. That's probably, I don't care what we do here, there's gonna be the learning curve, and it's gonna be a lot of problems at the beginning. They're just, our old plant, when we did this in 95, was the same thing. Took about 2 years to get all the bugs worked out of it.
You said that Roberts has the SBR system?
I think Hammond, not
Oh,
Roberts,
Hammond.
Hammond, yep.
Okay.
And then they've got a big system where they're growing algae and selling it and all kinds of stuff there.
And have they had issues with their computer system that they've had to have?
Yep, but now they've got all the bugs out of it. It's worked. The guy loves it.
Okay,
So Jeremy has honestly spent a lot more time on this, so I'll probably have him come, you guys, to the next one.
So am I reading this one kind of side by side correctly, that it's cost is between 7.7 million and 9.9?
Correct. Yeah, it's not gonna be huge expensive.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I suggested let's start working on this now.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a huge expense, it's going to be a huge thing. And again, doing exactly what you're doing. What do we need? What do we want?
Yeah.
What is best for the city,
Correct.
as far as our needs and demands.
Yeah, it's just like I say, we're just trying to get it rolling now, so everybody has an idea at least of what we're gonna get hit with.
How much of that is gonna be paid by grant?
That, their SEH is checking into that and
Okay,
hopefully buy.
yeah, I would think so. Cover quite a bit of it,
Yeah.
At least half.
how much of a financial opportunity is that with algae that they're selling?
I would say we want to stay away from it. They're breaking even now. And it's quite the ordeal. If you're interested, go for a run over there someday and look at it. It's quite the operation, but it's quite the operation. I mean, it's a.
Does it
full-time
take
deal.
more space to?
Well,
So you-
I don't know if we
You
have
have
the
the real
space for
estate to
that.
do it would be the other question.
Mhm.
'Cause if you drive by there,
Everything's on the table at this point.
yep, it's
Look at
slowing.
it all.
And I admit, I haven't looked at it as much as I should right now because of where we're at in the.
This is where we gotta start.
Yep.
Starting point. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, next on the agenda, ordinance 04/2022, chapter 14, boards, commissions, and committees. And I believe that basically this is being taken out.
Straight, yeah.
Yeah, so everything in this particular chapter is going to be removed. Information that is not necessary at this point in time.
And that's because we rely on the county health department, right?
So I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to forward to full council that we pass 03-2022 as is that how it should be read, or that we strike chapter 14, section 14.3.
Yep, you're striking, yeah, chapter 14.
However, the motion
section
needs to be read,
14-3, yeah,
needs to be stated.
yes.
Second,
And actually, looking at the information that's in our packet, it says ordinance number 03/2022, yet in our agenda, it's 04/2022. So is that correct?
04/2022 is correct. I think the one in the. packet.
Okay, so the one in the packet just needs to be
I
updated
correct
as
my
well.
Motion to 04-2022.
Okay, thank you. Motion's been made and seconded.
do we have a somewhere that references that those issues are forwarded to the county?
Yes. Yeah, actually, it was the last council meeting. Our health officer is just appointed with the Polk County Health Department every year.
Because I think the kindergarten kids are just getting back to normal
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Right.
now.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 05/2022, which is in regards to tattoo and body piercing. This is something, well, actually Patty, I'll let you speak to it. It's something that we haven't had before in our ordinances, and there's evidently been some inquiries in regards to this, so I'll let you speak to that.
Yep, this actually mimics the Polk County ordinance. You have to go through Polk County to get licensed. But we want to get something going for those people that are interested. There's a lot of them around, and there's getting to be more interest. And I don't know, I just think it would be something that there's been people asking, and we really can't do anything on our end because we don't have an ordinance in place, so.
Just for clarification, there's interest in like a business opening up?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So this is why I just brought this forward to council, because if it's something we think we should do.
Make a motion to approve to forward this on to full council.
Second,
I had a question. I didn't see it in there, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. Does this apply to ear piercing
Body piercing.
and so are we saying now that we're gonna have to have a county license in order to get your ears pierced in the area?
If you go there,
Well, I mean,
I
if
mean-
it applies to everybody, then that means, I don't know who does it now.
Hair salons and
Hair,
business.
hair,
and
Yeah.
body piercing is all over. I mean.
yeah, no, I just wanna, wondered if there was some exception to that. Seems like they've been piercing ears for 1,000 years now,
Mhm.
and noses and other
I
unimaginable
would
parts.
suspect they could do it for you. They could pierce your ears.
Mhm.
I think-
Yeah, no, I
think-
don't,
I think more people get other things pierced.
Yeah, that's
Was there, I just wondered if there was a, if, what's the benefit other than it being a, it'll be a burden on those folks, but a tattoo parlor, I totally understand, they're not providing
And
any.
it's just regulating the action. It's just regulating the action.
Just
Because there
following.
are state laws that apply to those things.
Yeah, and following up on licensure and that type of thing to pass it off on to
And
the
then,
county.
it's.
Proper disposal of equipment.
So,
So if you get your
There's
ears
needles.
pierced at one of the local hair deals, do they have registered body piercers or,
They pierce ears.
yeah? Do they have licenses now?
They must have to follow
They
that.
have
If
to
it's
follow
a-
their cosmetology license
Yeah.
to the state, through Board of Health. So,
Mhm.
yeah, they have licensing.
Mhm.
But I don't know about bodies. I think they just pierce ears.
There's generally different regulations because there's more body fluid in certain areas and it's a safety issue for clients that come
I
in.
guess I'd like to find out a little bit more about this before we just pass it arbitrarily, because it's just another restriction on a business that, and I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but if there's not a, I don't want to put any of the hairdressers out of business because they can't make pierced ears for little girls.
I tend to agree with you.
So we could wait a month on it. And
So the motion was to forward it to council. So can we get an answer to that before it goes? So we're not approving it tonight. It's only for consideration at council. So no need to push it because you're pushing it out almost 2 months then if you wait. So
well, we haven't had one for 50 years. Another 2 months don't seem to be a significant
Well, I think-
burden, but
Considering the salons that are becoming more full service salons and just the opportunities that are available at these salons, I think that this is definitely something that's it's not going to go away. It's going to grow. And if we have something in place in our city, it's a very lucrative
It's
business.
a good thing.
Um,
I do want to say, one of the salons close by where I live, they do microblading, and that's tattoos. They'll do the little tattoo on your finger. Salons do that. They have to have licensure for that in those salons. So depends on how much they want to open it up to what they do, I guess.
I think it's worthwhile to find out what the salons are. I mean, if they're already following the basics, not a problem then, but if it's imposes a significant burden on the little girls getting their ears pierced, so
Is there a licensure through
pierce,
Department of
I don't know.
ESPS?
Yes,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
there should be.
yes.
And I agree that we don't want to restrict businesses, but I think if there are businesses that aren't following these regulations, that should be of concern too. As a
agree.
safety issue for our citizens.
So can we find out before our next council meeting? What kind of issues that, you'll be able to tour all.
So
the-
Ben
all the
needs to go
hair
see
salons.
So I'm not actually here, so I'm looking
Yeah,
at it.
we can do that.
Well, I just think,
Call,
like I said, and
see what their licenses are.
being
what
that we
license
just
they
passed, being that we just forwarded to council, the idea that Polk County Health is going to be the
Enforcer of it.
enforcer of it. My experience with Polk County Health has been less than what I would have anticipated in some areas, but
Okay, so a motion's been made and seconded to forward ordinance 05-2022 tattooing and body piercing to full council. Sorry, oh my. All in favor? Any opposed?
Yeah, there is a state tattoo body piercing establishment license.
does that apply to this?
It will depend upon what they,
Their services.
what
I'm
they
guessing it does if
define
they're
as
piercing
body.
and tattooing.
Mhm. So, all right, moving on. Ordinance 06-2022 Arts, Parks and Recreation Committee.
I put this together, just kind of threw it together as an idea, sort of what Chad talked about. The specifics of it are still open. I mean, whoever you guys would like to sit on that, from wherever, township, school district, you name it. But this is just sort of a preliminary ordinance I put together that would create that committee.
And I think it reflects what I had in mind that they would do. The one question that I had is, it seems like there's some overlap if we say school district. When we're talking about the consistency with 7 members, which might be higher than we need, I don't know, but where it says 1 member from a surrounding township as well as 1 from the school district, and the townships that are listed, I think, are all within the school district. So you could say 2 could come from the school district. And the thought, at least my thought process is why I wanted to open it up outside of just the city of Amory, is the city of Amory is a destination for the entire region. So this offers up some broader suggestions other than those living directly in the city. So I guess I'd like to make a motion that we forward this on to full council for approval.
I'll
Can
second.
I suggest one change?
Sure.
Section F, use of city officers, they have city finance officer. Rather that be city administrator.
Yes. Thank you for that catch.
I think we should, I'm in favor of the motion with the exception of the taking the at least 1 member of the school district out.
I think it should be down to 5 members. 7 is a very large board, and I think it might be hindered by that number of people involved.
We'll
I
probably get,
think that having the input from these other groups is good. I just think that's too big of a panel.
Yeah.
And we have a hard enough time making decisions, the 6 of us. I mean, come on.
what?
That's what
So
we're
Rick,
here
You're all right, right?
Rick, were you suggesting then that,
No, to have 1, but
oh,
just
so instead
take
of 2,
the at least out.
sure.
Yeah,
So go down to 5 with one of those being,
1 from the school, 1 from the township. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they are an advisory committee anyway, but
and also public works director, not superintendent.
So where we were, a motion had been made to forward ordinance 06-2022 to full council.
second by
Oh, I didn't.
Mr.
know
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, so a motion's been made and seconded with some changes or some terminology changes to move that to full council, correct? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I-
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, pay application 2 for the South Industrial Park project.
Like I detailed in my administrator report, the things that have been done with the South Industrial Park. So
motion to approve.
Where do we have this?
Yeah, I don't see it.
I've lost it.
It's not in the,
Oh, it's page 23.
oh,
Is there a dollar amount associated with that?
That's not right.
Actually, I can't believe how much work they've gotten done for not,
Yeah.
I mean, they've been working like a dog out there.
really good job.
Well, the weather on their side.
Yeah, yeah.
oh, there. It's on page 36,
36.
313,000.
Okay, so a motion has been made and seconded to forward pay application number 2 for the South Industrial Park in the dollar amount of $313,224.15. All in favor?
I
Any opposed? So, okay to pay. Garbage hauling RFP.
And I guess before you get into that, too, we've got Dick Waterman here, and he'd like to talk to the committee about.
Awesome.
Garbage hauling RFP.
Well, where should we start? In the eighties? In the eighties, Polk County put in a recycling center and they put in a flow control. Everything from the county should go to the center. The clients, kids run that, do the sorting, which is a good deal for them. Kind of grown it. It's doesn't take all of our recycling all the time. We're the only hauler in Polk County that still hauls there. Two do not.
Could I have you talking to the microphone? We can't hear you. Thank you.
I was telling about the recycling center, how it's full all the time. They've turned this away. And we ended up paying to get rid of the recycling. That's when we halted the house-to-house pickups last fall. And all the municipalities, the ones that didn't have drop-off boxes like the blue box behind the fire hall, we supplied to Milltown, Balsam Lake, Star Prairie. We supply that for them now, but we can charge them for it. You guys get to use those blue boxes. You've already paid for it on your taxes. I need a little advice here where to go with this. Do you want me to keep using that facility up there? They want to upgrade it. They've got an engineering firm looking at it now over the summer. They're going to open for bids in the fall, in which direction to go. Direction, I mean, we sorted at the curb now. Whereas these other ones, if you get one bin, it's all goes into one bin, and then they take it and they get, it's called a single stream.
Single sort, right.
Right. That's, you get a lot of trash, undesirables in there. They're just, when we did it at the curb, we left it at the curb and gave them a flyer. What went wrong? That opens another can of worms. I'd like to know what you guys want to do. Should we keep using it? They're going to, they allocated the money from the lime quarry to go towards it. And my guess, that's about half as much as what they're going to need.
Do they have an estimated time frame when they're going to remodel or rebuild the recycling center?
He's going to give them a report in August or the 1st of September. They want to open bids over the winter. They want to start in the spring on remodeling.
Do you know what they're aiming for capacity? Because, they're not, whatever they had in the past was woefully undersized to begin with.
It's done manually now.
Yeah.
Last week I was at the Waste Expo and it's robotic now. Everything is robot. Fixed with eyes and technology. That's expensive. That would take away some jobs up there, which I don't want to see. But if you're going to go to make it faster than what the volume is, they'll need twice as much money. The roof isn't high enough. We dumped almost outside and they shoved in. That's the first problem. It's working now. Leave it. If I picked it up at the curb, single stream, there'd have to be a charge.
I think because there's a lot of questions,
Mhm.
not a lot of answers. I think we keep the status quo because it is working now. I don't know if what we're doing is the best long-term solution, but it's working. As far as you're picking up the trash and then we're utilizing the bins. And let's wait until September, or October, until we hear what they decide to do. And hopefully answer some of these questions that we have, that we just don't know the answers to right now.
Is there some elderly that are in dire need of pickup in town?
I have not heard that. But
I didn't hear your question.
Is there been a call for to resume the pickup at the curb in town? I was asking.
I think in general, if we can make it easier, the easier we can make it for the residents, the more likely they are to recycle. Previously, I was in Waconia, Minnesota, and they had the single source or single stream. I can't answer how well it worked because that wasn't something I was into over there, but everybody did it. Everybody used it in the community that I was in anyway. I do see people just throwing recyclables in the trash because they just feel it's too much of a bother to haul it into town.
We lost the education
Mhm.
process also along the line here. And that poor guy in the truck, when he, at the curb, when he sorted it, he became the educator and the whipping boy. When you put it in a single stream can, it disappears. You pay to get rid of it, and then 2 weeks later, they send you another bill for the contaminants that were in it. That's the problem with single stream. So the county, that would be better.
That's why I think we need to wait and see what they do. Well, I know your next question is gonna be the RFP.
Oh, well, back up a second. What are you hearing from residents? You brought up specifically the elderly people, and I completely understand why that could be an issue.
A year ago, Pondhurst, there was some calls.
Okay.
But that's subsided. I think there's a couple gentlemen out there that have multiple homes and made a nice little job out of it.
Mhm.
Run it down to the bids. I'm not saying don't recycle, I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm thinking that it seems like they're either production, right, more of the blue containers over there, or they're emptying them more often.
They stepped up, yes.
Because the volume went up,
Yes.
and for a while you couldn't put cardboard any place, but it's better, it's much better than it was. So I think people that want to are. I know that when we asked you before, you said, we asked how many people are actually participating, and it wasn't as many as we hoped.
It was, on the north side of the railroad tracks on the Friday route, it was 33, but most of them on Arlington Drive. I believe it was 108 on the Wednesday side, on the south side of the tracks. Both from memory. It was pretty
Yeah,
sparse.
so it goes to what you're saying, if you make it easier, or we have enough education, which also makes a difference, but
A lot of it was, they wouldn't wait for every other week. They went downtown on Saturdays, they did it themselves.
Sure.
We heard a lot of that.
sure, but it seems like for the recycling center to function, it's going to need recycling material.
I didn't take a picture, but it was, I went by there and the door, it was sold to the door. I counted it. When we took the truck there, we took 7 to 8 ton at a time. When they take the blue bin, they take 12 to 1,500 pounds tops. It can digest that
Yeah.
a lot faster than when we took our truck there. So I see that.
So I think it would be a challenge to come up with an alternative now without knowing where that's going to go. Fair.
Unless you don't bring it to Polk County, and I think that was your original question. But one of your original questions is, do you continue to do that or not?
Yes.
And I think we need to step back and say, do we want to be a community that's looking towards sustainability and into the future of our families and the community, or do we want to be one that is worried about the costs associated with the recycling process?
You know, one of the things that, because I have a cabin up on Yellow Lake, And we get our recycling and stuff at the OCC. And I'm sure Patty's familiar with that because she lives in that same township that we do. And I'd be curious as to how much that costs. I mean, there's a lot of dollar value in those two townships because there's a lot of lake property, but I don't know how it compares, but they have Wednesday. I think it's 4 hours on Wednesday, and they have like from 10 till 3 or 4 on Saturday, and 9 till 1 on Sunday. And they have 3, 4 little old guys out there that people bring their recycles in, and they said, this goes here and that goes here. If you brought a bread frame in, you owe us $10, or, same kind of thing. But I'd be curious as to how much that recycling costs them. For a township, the place is busy. I also know Glenwood City used to have their recycling side. I don't know if that's still active, is it?
Yeah, they still have, we haul that.
Yeah,
It's been there since 1970.
but there's somebody there, so
At all times, yes.
when somebody brings in a soup can half full of soup, they say, that goes and you go too, so,
It used to pay for itself. Not anymore.
well, a lot of things like that, but this isn't paying for itself either, so.
Not the cost of fuel.
And we're not doing a very good job of recycling. That's pretty evident. We certainly could do better. I mean, yes, it's a valid concern when people bring, cans in and they leave the wrappers on and don't dump half the contents out, or spaghetti jars or whatever it is,
Which still brings us back to the question. What are we gonna do about it?
I don't think there's anything we can do except wait till fall and see what.
You're absolutely correct.
Polk County had appropriated what, $7 million for the recycling? I think something like that. So it depends on,
So I think with all those unknowns, we need to table the garbage hauling RFP until this fall. We determine, do we continue what we're doing, where Polk County takes our recyclables, or does the hauler deal with the recyclables? Because that's going to make a difference in the RFPs. Correct.
What other options would you have other than the recycling center up there?
Eau Claire, Eagle River, Forest Lake. There's, I would haul to one of the other big haulers. They have processing centers there, and they all charge $100 a ton to dump there, and you can take a single stream to them. But then again, we did haul there a year ago, and then they send you a bill for the contamination in it, so you're not really sure how much you got into it. It's all said and done. You can't get rid of it.
Well, and with that said, you were hauling those things for 35 residents on the north side of town and 100 residents on the south side of town. So for 150 residents out of the 1,800 households in town, am I correct with that number? How many? Okay, 1,100. That's an awful lot of
10%.
work for not a lot of people. And if it's working like it's working right now, is that realistic?
Well, and I guess I would say it's working because we're not doing it. Right? So if only 133 people are recycling, it's because they had to have their own cans down at the end of the driveway. Remember what day it was to bring it down.
It would be no different if we had that was the program. I mean, that's what it was.
Right. And I guess I would advocate that the program is the citywide recycling initiative that we do. Meaning that there are cans and there's pickup at every location.
Is that the only one that had a can? I had a can. I had a bucket.
Box.
Yeah, I had a
Simple
box.
wall box.
Mhm.
Sure.
But everything needed to be in separate boxes for the recycling at the driveway, right?
Yeah, that was what we started out as, but the driver got to sort it for you. It didn't work.
I think there's a critical component of education that needs
I agree.
to be implemented somewhere and probably on multiple fronts, regardless of what decision we make or when we make it.
Yeah, there has to be a reset because when recycling started, it was acceptable. It was a hot topic and people were willing to do it. Enthusiasm wanes. Because it's too hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Those are the worst things you can say. It's too hard.
I would say, like for Rick, where you go up there, then there was old boys. You got a sheriff there. I bet you they get good product in the end.
Well, if you don't have the right stuff there, they say, no, take it home.
Glenwood City has sought after products.
Yeah.
The mayonnaise and peanut butter, the ketchup bottles go back home.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, but there again, the solution to that is they have to have a guy there when they bring the stuff in, and if they, bring in crappy paper and cardboard mixed together, the guy says, no, you sort that out before, cardboard goes in this bin, paper goes in this bin.
The TV box with the plastic, and the
Yeah, well,
styrofoam still in.
I know that there are people who still don't pay enough attention because you see an entire flat screen TV box in there with foam in it. That's barely making the effort.
What would work good in Avery would be a place that was fenced in and manned. That would be excellent.
I think that's, if we're gonna comprehensively recycle, I think that's the issue that we're up against, really.
I think we need to make it as easy as possible for the residents, and I would be in favor of the single stream, but I think we need to do a lot of education to the residents to get them to use it properly. And I think we would have a lot more people using it when we make it easy for them.
You give them another trash can, in my opinion. If you had a manned site where it's open every day for a few hours, you don't have to think of what day it is. You know it's there, it's open. That seems to work better. But single stream is very popular. But is another truck going down the road, another can. They're $100 a piece, the cans. So it's more expensive.
But if you get participation, what is the value in doing that versus hauling it in the trash?
Yes.
Yeah, no question.
That was my question.
So we've talked around in a circle. Where are we
We're
now?
right back to the garbage hauling RFP.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we could make a motion to table the garbage hauling RFP until September. And put it on for,
And leave things as they are
right,
right now.
right.
I will second that.
What is that RFP gonna entail?
How much you want for your garbage cans?
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to table the RFP for garbage hauling until September of this year. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. And the last, thank you, Dick,
Thank
for
you,
your
Dick.
time. Last on the agenda is potential recycling committee. And I think Chad, you can
Yeah,
speak
so I
to
think
this.
this just kind of dovetails onto what we were just talking about.
Mhm.
No matter what we do, we do have an educational component, and this is an opportunity to enable a committee to act on that behalf, on behalf of the city. And clearly the Women's Club will be highly involved with it. because they've been highly involved with recycling all along. So this is, I'd like to see this moving forward.
And it looks as though we have an ordinance before us that is up for review and for potential moving to full council based on what this committee decides.
I guess one thing with the appointments I would say is I don't know that it needs to include anything from neighboring townships. It should just be City of Amory since it's coming underneath the cost of the City of Amory.
So will you have an ordinance or whatever, an ordinance drafted with the scope of their duties and
I think
It's
that's
actually
what,
here.
that's what this is.
It's like the last few pages
page
of our
42.
packet.
And this one mimics the
Is
other one, so I think we should get rid of.
Yeah.
City
The other
finance,
names.
the Public Works Superintendent, change those.
Yeah.
And city engineer.
And city engineer.
I think we should add a C to the duty. So D, subpart C should be added, I think, for education.
Education.
so you're gonna take the neighboring township out.
That's what I would recommend. So with those modifications, I'd make a motion to move this to full council.
Second. That moved to full council with noted changes in it.
Yeah. Yeah, with no change.
Thank you. All right, so a motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So that carries forward.
Motion to adjourn.
City. Thank you.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Is there, I don't remember.